Original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) have again appealed to the National Assembly and well-meaning Nigerians to accord the territory the full status of a state or mayoralty. They said that the right time for achieving this is now that both chambers of the National Assembly are carrying out an amendment of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Clearview TV's Emefon Okon has the details.
For so long now, original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) have been demanding recognition as a state or be granted the status of mayoralty, noting that this is the only way to comprehensively address the injustice caused by the disposition of their lands and means of livelihoods without proper compensation. At a community meeting in Abuja, a group Original Inhabitants Youth Empowerment Organization said the key conditional and governance issues undermining the political, civil, economic, and cultural rights of FCT original inhabitants need to be addressed during the ongoing constitution amendment process. Beatrice Lawrence Garuki is the leader of the group.
We're trying to harness appropriate strategies to addressing the many issues that are facing the original inhabitants of FCT. These issues are bordered around marginalization, statelessness, land compensation, service delivery. And then we keep seeing agitation literally everywhere. So we said there's a need to actually go in a bid of actually harmonizing these thoughts together so that we can have one demand and one voice.
Various speakers at the meeting also stressed the need for the National Assembly to address the marginalization and statelessness of FCT original inhabitants.
We have to see whether we can deal with this issue of removing the state of origin from everywhere, or get a state that will represent all the other things that is happening around FCT except the FCT territory.
Everywhere you face in this country, no matter where you come from, there's an injustice waiting for you. And unfortunately for the original inhabitants, for the autochthonous people of this place, this is the injustice they face.
The FCT indigenous people have a lot to offer. Even FCT minister, no indigenous person have been appointed as an FCT minister before. A law that seeks to ensure we have a mayor in the FCT. My brothers and sisters, let me not get emotional, because now is not time for emotions. Now it's time for action. And I believe that each and every one of us, from the knowledge and information, will start taking those actionable steps.
The choice of FCT as the most suitable location for Nigeria's new capital in 1979 followed the approval of Justice Akinola Akuda panel selection of 8,000 square kilometers of land by the military administration of General Murtala Mohammed. Ever since, the original inhabitants, despite some compensation for loss of their lands, have continued to complain of non-compliance with the compensation scheme, insisting that they have been denied of their rights as enshrined in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Emefon Okon, reporting for Clearview Television.
Original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory have again met at this time in Buhari Area Council to coordinate support and sensitize those at the grassroots in their collective desire to get the National Assembly to redress what they consider as their political marginalization within the Nigerian Federation. For the opportune time, they say the only way their political concerns can be effectively tackled is to grant the FCT the status of a state or mayoralty. Clearview TV's Emefon Okon was at the community meeting in Buhari and now reports.
Addressing the opening session of the community meeting in Buhari Area Council, leader of the Original Inhabitants Youth Empowerment Organization, Beatrice Lawrence Garuki, said the objective is to enhance appropriate outreach strategies and information about the ongoing constitutional amendment by the National Assembly and how to ensure that the historic injustice, discrimination, and human rights violations suffered by the original inhabitants of the FCT can be adequately addressed.
What we're doing is we're promoting the rights of original inhabitants of FCT. And then by means of doing that, we are also trying to produce what we call a Charter of Demand of the People, which is basically an evidence-based document So, and then that document must show representation, must show that we've been able to capture all the thoughts and all the groups and all the thoughts of the area councils. So that's the process. So we're in AMAC. AMAC is done, and then this is Boari now. We're just concluding. And then I must tell you, the responses we're getting are really, really critical and also important to whatever we're fighting for as a people.
Various speakers at the meeting also stressed the need for the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, address the long-standing concerns and statelessness of the FCT original inhabitants.
No government is going to take the citizens and indigenous original inhabitants of FCT seriously until you start taking your women seriously.
We need to start mentoring the young ones. You must have been successful if you have been able to pass down your success to another person. Why do we still have to talk about lack of adequate empowerment? Why do we talk about non-payment of student bursary? Why do we talk about poor infrastructures in our localities? Why do we still have to clamor and beg the government for some basic amenities that are truly ours? The dividend of democracy is our right.
The Federal Capital Territory (FCT) was created upon the promulgation of Decree Number 6 of 1976 to pave way for the relocation of Nigeria's capital from Lagos to Abuja. The FCT, which comprises 858 communities and 17 chiefdoms, has 62 electoral wards in 6 area councils, namely Abaji, Kwali, Gwagwalada, Kuje, Boari, and Abuja Municipal Area Council. Imefonokon, reporting for Clearview Television.
For so long now, original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) have been demanding recognition as a state or be granted the status of mayoralty. The original inhabitants strongly believe that this is the only way to comprehensively address the injustice caused by the dispossession of their lands and means of livelihood without proper compensation. In this special interview with Clearview TV, the leader of the original inhabitants Youth Empowerment Organization, Beatrice Lawrence Garki, sheds more light on the fate of original owners of Abuja in the administration of the FCT. We began by asking him whether the original inhabitants of the FCT are being recognized and well represented in the administration of the FCT, and of course, what efforts are being made to normalize the situation.
Abuja is just recognized as a place, but not as a place where people come from. So talking about representation, it borders around, are you first of all recognized, as is your existence actually recognized before you talk about being represented out there? So we're not represented in any way, neither are we recognized as a people. There have been efforts in several angles, efforts from civil society organizations, efforts from pressure groups, efforts from cohorts of lawyers and many others. And we've actually pushed the fight to a certain extent. We have a court judgment that that mandates the president to nominate an indigene to be an FCT minister. That judgment has been neglected. So right now we're taking a different approach by means of advocacy, and we'll be advocating and saying this is the right of the people, this is who we are, we're people, we deserve our right, we need to enjoy the dividends of the country, we also need to be recognized, we need to be represented. And then we've pushed this fight as well, and then we're also trying to see as much as we can to bring in the international community. So I have to say, do not lose hope, stand up and let's keep fighting for our right. Let's push for this. We are a people. We must not allow our voices to be silent. We have to come out. We have to speak. And for some of our professionals that are out there, come and put hands with us. Let's see the best approach we can actually take this fight to and make sure that we enjoy the dividends of this government. We need to be able to take back what is ours, and we need to demand what is ours.
A sad state of hopelessness, despair, and fear is what you now get to observe at Monkey Village on One TV, situated off 2nd Avenue in Gwarimpa Housing Estate in Abuja City. Also affected are those in the densely populated Basa Jiwa Village and Banana Village, where the residents are now made to roam through piles of rubble that they once called homes. This is the lot of many of the rural poor in the Federal Capital Territory as the authorities begin another round of demolition of illegal structures in parts of the city center. Clearview TV's Ime Fonokon, who visited some of the affected areas, reports that many are still seen in the areas sitting out, while others are struggling to build patches to lay their heads as they have nowhere to go.
This is Banana Village, where you see laying bare used to be homes to thousands of people, mostly low-income earners who had managed to save and build modest houses. As you can see, since the demolition exercise, many are still sleeping outside as they say they have nowhere to go.
I went to work on a day before they came to mark this place. So when I came, they have already marked the place. What happened? They said they want to demolish. They gave us just 2 days, 48 hours for us to pack. And they did not give us time.
Definitely, people have been staying here for almost 20 to 30 years. The first notice comes out on the 2nd of March. And they came out for the 4th of March to demolish this place.
I'm from Borno State. So the main purpose that brought me here is that is as a result of insurgency. So when we enter Abuja here, we have no any place that we can live. So we come start living here.
Just they work that they call us that they came for demolition. We say for where they say our area, before we reach here, they have already cleared our site, everything. They damage all our things. And since then, we have been sleeping outside, nowhere to go.
The demolition of illegal structures in some of the affected settlements or villages in Abuja City can best be described as a tale of woes, as the level of destruction not only echoes the plight of the common man in a city overtaken by the rich, but also shows the might of the government. Not a few have described the demolition exercise as government insensitivity to the plight of a people already battered by a stifling economic atmosphere, insecurity, and the struggle to urge a living. According to the Federal Capital Development Authority, the settlement being demolished had become an eyesore and constituting a security threat to the nation's capital city. The FCDA says more and more shanties were springing up there, and that the illegal structures are oftentimes inhabited by criminal elements. However, the residents of the area say they have been living peacefully, and that even if the government wishes to send them packing, they should have been given enough time to do so instead of the way and manner they were displaced, leaving them homeless.
Our next plan now is to rebuild.
Outside, the demolition affects us. We are sleeping outside. We are not going to school now. Money that they're supposed to get and pay for school fees, now they are using it so that we try and build back our house, and they are still looking for the government to tell them to help us.
So here, if they want to demolish a place, they will demolish it. But before that, they've already given you a place to stay.
Because this thing, since this is Okawe, these people came here, human rights came here, and this is of that they are coming back to see what they can do. They come and pick our names here, the houses that we have here. Since they went back, don't say anybody up to date now.
The government to help us, or a small something share for us. Let's help us. I no school. I want to go school because we are sleeping outside every day. We cannot sleep comfortable. Rain will be falling. We will stay on that tree and be hiding. There's no place to stay. So I want government to help us.
As affected FCT residents count their losses, many are of the view that it is important for the government to further look into the activities of the FCDA regarding its demolition policy, as well as creating needed public awareness so that residents do not fall foul of set standards. Imefonokon reporting for Clearview Television.